What is the most toxic thing a parent can say to a child? You wrecked my marriage. No. He went to jail for sexually abusing me for 7 years. Age 4 to 11. You're worthless. We're moving and you're not welcome. This is what my dad said to me while blackout drunk. After he took my sister's pizza that I made. Ate it in front of me. And then threw the pizza at me after I asked him why the fuck he's like that and walked away. We were supposed to be moving to a new place the next couple weeks after this fight. I kicked your mom out and I can kick you out as well. I gave up everything I liked for you. 95? Why not 100? Why can't you be like so and so's child? They do less than one impressive thing greater than. A bit subtler than the top comments here, but can eat a child's self-worth and guilt them well into adulthood and pass by standard alarms. Edit. Yes. Asian parents, haha. I blame but don't hate them. It's a struggle when your default behavior is to not think you have worth when achieving something. As for some reason, there's always more you could have done, and what I just finished isn't actually that impressive, in my mind. It is. And will be. A battle to unlearn, and I wish all those who share this experience the best in their journey of unlearning and self-accepting. If you're so depressed, why aren't you cutting? Cut deeper and kill yourself. She also forced me to sleep outside regularly. Dad let me in sometimes after midnight. She starts screaming and crying that she knows my dad and I are having an affair or he wouldn't have let me in. Oh, and ugly remarks about my appearance. How no one will ever love me or be friends with me. Which I guess she's right about that one. What is the most overrated product you've purchased? A garden hose that was unkinkable. I paid extra for the guaranteed kink-free feature. It kinked up like a motherfucker. Sears Best canister vacuum cleaner. It was expensive, but lasted a few days over 1 year and quit. With only light household use. Sears wouldn't stand behind it. The cost of parts and repair was greater than the cost of the vacuum cleaner. No wonder Sears is in trouble. Raycon earbuds. The left one has become noticeably quieter than the right one after roughly 8 months of use. They really aren't that much cheaper. They aren't great sound quality. Just average overall. And they didn't last. I bought an unbreakable handle axe at Home Depot that used revolutionary new technology and it broke on the third swing. Replaced it with a hickory handle axe which I still use 22 years later. I bought one of those oversized gag lighters thinking the flame was going to be proportionally big. It wasn't. A fushigi ball skeptical smiley face. Joshes of Reddit. What are your strategies for the upcoming battle to be the one true Josh? Nice try, Josh. I started going by Josh instead. I never got the invite, so I figure they must have identified that I wasn't the true Josh at some earlier stage of the competition. Figure out which other Josh is making it so I don't get my memos. Seriously. I had to find out about this from a guy named Dwayne. Dwayne. I tell ya. When I get to that field I'm going to have a thing or two to say to someone. Sadly I'm in the UK and travel is a bit of a cunt right now. I feel like history will forget me in the coming days. Once had a boss named Julius but insisted to be called Josh. I secretly hated that fake Josh. Redditors who always responded with, "No he can't," during the Bob the Builder theme song. Where are you at in life? Turns out, I was the one who can't. Just got out of the hospital. I should have never mocked Bob. Finishing up a master's degree with furniture I ordered nearly a year ago sitting unassembled in a corner at a construction company. Life is a sick joke. My uncle is named Bob and he owns his own construction business. When we were little, we rewrote the song to fit our family. Bob, our uncle. Can he fix it? Yes, he can. There's Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt Kathy too. AJ and Kyle join the crew. Eating soggy heart-shaped Cheerios because I spent too much time petting my cat before eating my breakfast. What's socially acceptable in The Sims but not in real life? Making friends by repeatedly high-fiving complete strangers. Burying people in the yard. Having a Sims's funeral with everyone in their bathing suits after that Sim drowned in a swimming pool. Pissing on the floor and then carrying on making dinner. Going and sitting on someone's bed to eat your food. Or washing dishes in the bathroom sink when you have a perfectly serviceable kitchen sink. Calling a person you've met once just to chat. Proposing to your boyfriend or girlfriend after one date. Showing up at someone's house and then ignoring them to use their computer. What are some major plot holes in any religion that just don't make any sense? I don't want to get too existential here, so I'm gonna go a more literal route. Cain. Cain was sent to wander the earth and, as I recall, eventually got married and had children. But if Adam and Eve, and their kids after Cain and Abel, were the only other people alive, WHO fucked Cain? My dad is a theologian and he hasn't been able to give me a straight answer. If a poor person born in some poor country doesn't even know your kind of religion, how is he gonna end up in hell? I know this is one of the things Martin Luther took issue with in regards to Catholicism. But if God is forgiving and Jesus died for our sins, how come we gotta go to purgatory and pay for our sins, go to hell? Martin Luther declared that purgatory has no basis in the Bible, but then that creates another problem. According to him, so long as you believe in God, you go to heaven. So why would you refrain from sinning? Then Samson went out and caught 300 foxes. And he took torches, turned the foxes tail to tail, and fastened a torch between each pair of tails. Then he lit the torches and released the foxes into the standing grain of the Philistines. Catching a fox is quite a feat. Catching 300 will take a lot of time. These fuckers have territories and are spread all over the land living in foxholes. Then tying them together in pairs with a torch between them just seems excessive. And very time-consuming. Can't a single fox drag a torch more effective? This massive task just to achieve the burning of grain fields. Riding along at night setting fields ablaze as you go. Seems 1,000-fold more productive. How do you even keep the foxes alive and well from the time you catch the first till you catch number 300? God made Adam and Eve, who then bore sons. And then the sons were said to have headed over to the next town and found wives. Where'd they come from? Jesus showed up into Jerusalem in broad daylight. There was a whole ass parade for him. With palms. He wasn't even hiding 'cause he knew he was going to die. Why the fuck does Judas need to rat him out at all? If a time traveler had warned you about the COVID-19 pandemic 10 years ago, how would you've reacted? I would have upgraded my GPU in January of 2020. Probably asked him on what drugs he is on. I would have said something like, "Oh, okay, thanks, I guess. You should really tell someone who can actually do something about that though. Fuck off, weirdo." I would have posted it on Twitter or on Reddit, so that 10 years later people could find it and some news stations could have invited me to explain how I predicted everything in such detail. Maybe if I also get some information on which corporations make big profits from the pandemic, I could have invested. Save every penny until mid-March and buy stocks. Would have made a killing. What actor is the opposite of his, her character IRL? Cliff Edwards, who was Jiminy Cricket in Pinocchio. While his character in the movie is all about staying on the straight and narrow path and avoiding temptation, the actor sadly fell from a strong career by excessive alcoholism, drug addiction, gambling, and multiple divorces. He died utterly destitute, and his body went unclaimed until Disney purchased it and paid for his burial. Bob Saget is very different than Danny Tanner. Samuel L. Jackson looks much less intimidating in real life than he does on screen. I hear Bill Cosby isn't actually the wholesome TV dad he played for years. Mads Mikkelsen vs. Hannibal Lecter. Dude is super laid back. Always wearing Adidas or sweats. Messy hair. Smokes. Pretty goofy. Nothing like Hannibal's three-piece suited fancy schmancy cannibalism. Jack Gleason, who played Joffrey in Game of Thrones, is a really nice person. Very kind. Very smart. The kind of guy you'd have a pint with.
Subscribe, my brothers.